I got rich in my 20s and you can too. So what I want to do with this video is basically share my story, share all of my failures, all the things I did right, all the things I did wrong. And if you want to be financially successful, I'm going to talk about a lot of things that will help you out. Seriously, if someone had sat me down while I was in my 20s and told me, you need to watch this video fully, and I'd actually done it, I'd have much fewer failures and faster successes. I'm really confident in that, so I really hope you guys can watch until the end. Now, I grew up as the son of two Chinese immigrants. They came to the States when they were in their 20s, attended university, and I was born in SoCal, then moved to NorCal, where I basically grew up. Obviously, NorCal and Palo Alto specifically, these cities are very intellectual and career-oriented, meaning you go to school, you do well, you get a job, and that's really what I thought was normal. Now, after graduating from UCLA in 2014, my parents wanted me to become a doctor. I applied to a bunch of different med schools, didn't get in, and then I basically just started doing my own thing in my 20s. I remember the day after I graduated college, I was like, I don't have a job lined up. What am I actually going to do? And so I basically just tried everything. I worked a normal 9-to-5 job during the summer while in college. This was for about 2 months, and it made me realize that this was not the life for me. And I remember this defining moment where I thought, F it. I want to get rich. I want to do it my way. So like I said, I've done so many different side hustles in my life. I've started different businesses, for example, FBA, dropshipping, loans, real estate, content, all of it. And yeah, I failed at most of them, but some of them actually did really well and helped me on my net worth journey. Now, you're probably wondering what was the business that ultimately got me to become a millionaire? And I'll tell you, that was YouTube. If you're watching this, you do not need to become a YouTuber to become a millionaire. But the general gist is that I tried a bunch of different things. They all helped me learn. I failed some of them. I did okay in some of them, but they ultimately led me to finally building a really successful business. And that business was YouTube. So today I have over 30 different channels. This is not my only channel. And most of my income actually comes from content. There's so many different ways to make money with content, but we'll save that for a later video. So this is basically my net worth and time. For me, it was super, super flat for the first, 20 something years. After that, I hit this little tipping point, and then my net worth started to really shoot up. And if you look at most successful people, it's usually quite similar to this. This is the area where they're trying different things out, failing, learning, all that stuff. And this is where they basically hit their stride. And hitting that stride usually takes longer than people that graduate from college and go directly into working a 9-to-5 job. Now, when I was in my 20s, I did a lot of things that were good, and I did a lot of things that were bad. And let's talk about the bad things first, because I definitely think you can learn something from it. So the first is college, okay? So I personally think that college is good. There are definitely positives to going to college, but personally, I went to college incorrectly. I didn't have the right experience. And since college is 4 years of your life, making that mistake is such a big issue. Now, basically, I went through college with a girlfriend. I didn't really go out that much. I didn't join a ton of different clubs. I didn't try to start my own business. Basically, I lived a pretty sheltered and not that exciting college life. I have huge regrets about this because I think that if I had went through college differently, I would have hit my stride a lot faster. So that's definitely one thing that I encourage you to do. If you're in college or you're about to go to college, please do it correctly. Try everything out, join different clubs, make a lot of friends, network your ass off, start your business, start making money, please. The next thing I want to say that I did incorrectly is saying no. So when my parents wanted me to become a doctor, I didn't really have the confidence or ability to say no. And that was a huge mistake. If I had really thought to myself, hey, is this something that I want to do? Is this something I actually see myself doing for the next 40, 50 years? And of course, I'd come to the conclusion that no, being a doctor would not fulfill me. It's not something I want to do. I could have said no a lot faster. I could have started doing the things that I wanted to do. So if you're young, do not be afraid to say no. Sometimes your parents are right, of course, but they're not always right. And you really need to follow your gut. And that sort of ties into this, being influenced by others. I feel like I didn't have that much self-confidence, this inner self-confidence that I have today. Rather, I was super influenced by outside forces, for example, my parents, my friends, whatever. And yeah, that definitely does limit you, especially if you want to live a crazy, extraordinary life. Now, let's talk about what I actually did correctly to get things on a more positive note. The first thing is that I talked about money a lot. I grew up frugal. I really cared about personal finance, saving money, investing. And as a result, I talked to my dad about it. I would would go online, learn about it. And yeah, that basically got me interested in investing early. So I started investing in stocks straight out of college. And basically what I realized is that to be good at something, you need to actually talk about it a lot. You're never gonna be good at money unless you actually talk about it and learn about it. And so if there's any subject or thing that you want to, achieve or be good at in your life, really prioritize talking about it with your friends and family. As a result of this, I was an extremely good saver. I was very smart with my money, and that definitely helped me to, build my net worth. The next thing that I did correctly was risks, right? So I didn't have that much money to actually risk at the time, so I risked a lot of my time instead. That's the beauty of taking risks, right? You don't always need to take financial risks. You can risk your time and your energy. And so that's what I did. I tried a bunch of different things, and eventually I got very, very lucky. But that's all really coming down to taking a lot of risks when you're young. And then the third thing I did correctly was I learned a lot. Through doing all those things, I learned different lessons. I learned what worked, what did not work, and I sort of became a sponge in my 20s, acquiring a bunch of different skills. And then eventually all those skills definitely helped me become successful later on. So now let's talk about the key principles to actually getting wealthy. First is you need to do things unconventionally. You cannot just do what everyone else is doing, because I guarantee you, if you just do what other people are doing, you're gonna have the financial success of most people. And that's probably not something that you want, right? Like most people, they are not extremely wealthy. So you can't really just copy the actions that they do. Getting rich in your 20s is something that a very small percentage of people actually achieve. And so if you think about it logically, does it make sense for you to get rich if you do what others do? And the answer, of course, is no. Now, I'm not saying to do everything differently than everyone, because that's not a good formula to follow. But what I'm saying is, not everything you need to do needs to be traditional. You don't always need to go down the traditional path. Many of you watching this, you probably have dealt with parents that want you to go down some certain career path. They might want you to become a doctor, lawyer, accountant, whatever it is. And while that is great, especially if you yourself want to do that, I know many of you watching this do not actually want to do that. And so if you're in that type of situation, I want you to have the confidence and, push to actually tell them, hey, mom, dad, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. I want to go the non-traditional route. And simply just knowing that a lot of people you look up to went the non-traditional route should inspire you and tell you, okay, it is actually possible. I can do it myself. They can do it. I can do it. The next is you need to embrace failure. This is so important. And if I look at my friends, many of them who have become successful in their 20s or 30s, the amount of failures that they have gone through is just absolutely insane. Especially for myself, I've sort of touched on this earlier, but I have failed so many different things. And really when it comes down to it, failing a lot is completely okay. You need to fail a lot. The first side hustle that you do does not need to become the thing you do for the rest of your life. You'll probably do it, you'll make some money, you'll learn a bunch of different things, and someday you'll probably call it quits. All these different side hustles can be sort of viewed as different stepping stones. And when you sort of think of it that way, it removes the anxiety of, oh my God, I need to absolutely crush at this one thing I'm doing. It does not need to be like that. Every single thing you do does not need to be the thing you do for the rest of your life. And it does not need to be the thing that ultimately makes you millions of dollars. And when it comes to actually getting good at this, what I just recommend doing is go out there and force yourself to fail a lot. Don't start a business just with the intention of failing. That's not what I'm saying, but rack up a lot of smaller failures. For example, for me, I did modeling when I was in my 20s in Los Angeles. I went on a ton of different auditions. And when you are in the modeling and acting world, you're gonna get rejected a lot. So all these rejections, they're sort of small failures, and you sort of become immune to it, right? It's a normal part of life. That really helped me. It made me think, wow, it's actually okay to fail. It's not actually the end of my life. And really, you should think that way as well. The next big principle that I really want you to understand is you need to have a money abundance mindset. This is something that I did not have for many, many years until probably my early to mid 20s. Let me tell you, I was the most frugal person in the world. It's something that I learned growing up. I think a lot of Asian people have this sort of mindset, but I literally thought that money was so scarce. I thought money was so valuable. I thought money was incredibly hard to get. And so I really wanted to just save everything. Saving is great, but when it comes to making money, having this type of mindset is actually incredibly hurtful. As someone that's in your 20s or 30s or whatever, you need to think that money is everywhere. And that's actually the truth. There is so much money out there. All the money has been printed already. They keep printing more. And there are so many different opportunities for you to make money. Now, if you have the traditional mindset mindset of making money where you trade your time for money for, let's say, $30 per hour, then yeah, I don't think you'll ever be able to truly have this money abundance mindset, because you simply just need to trade too many hours of your life in order to get X dollars. When you think about money in a completely different way, that is building a business and not tying money with your time, then that's really when it becomes possible to have this sort of money mindset. And let me just tell you guys, there are so many different ways to make money these days, especially with the internet. I have so many friends, they make money in completely different ways. I have friends that have restaurants. I have friends that do content. I have friends that sell education. I have friends that have agencies. I have friends that, invest in real estate. And because of this, I have this mindset that there are so many different ways I can make money. It increases my confidence in my future earning potential. It makes me less scared about money, right? The more you're scared about something, the harder it is to actually get it. And when you just view money as a byproduct of some type of service or giving some type of value, then you realize there's a lot of value or services that I can do, and hence there is a lot of money that I can make. Now, in terms of some tactical advice, I really want you guys to know that making more money is easier than saving more money. It's always like this, right? Like saving $4 at Starbucks per day, it's good. It's something that you should do while you are young, but saving an additional $4 a day, it's not gonna move the needle. What moves the needle is making more money. So when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, when you're young, whatever age, you need to start acquiring high value skills. And this is something that I'm gonna be talking about all throughout this video. It's something I talk about a lot, and that's because it's so important. High value skills are basically the foundation or backbone of becoming financially successful. If you have a high value skill, you can turn that into a business that generates cash flow. And that cash flow is what's really going to contribute heavily to your assets. The other thing is building equity in some type of business. This is something that I haven't really done that much. It's something that I'm working on with my overseas staffing company, but most of the businesses that I've made, they don't really have equity. However, I know a lot of people that have become extremely wealthy just by having equity in a business. And so yeah, your high value skill turns into cash flow, and then your equity is basically adding to your assets. When you combine these two different things, it's basically like a magic formula. Now, when it comes to actually becoming financially successful, it really comes down to your net worth. So you basically have two buckets, right? These are your assets and these are your liabilities. This is the good stuff that adds to your net worth, and this is the bad stuff that detracts from your net worth. So assets are gonna be things like your stocks, any cash you have, real estate, anything that holds its value. And then your liabilities are gonna be things like what you owe on your credit card, maybe your mortgage, any money that you've borrowed, and so on. Now, the goal is to make it so that our assets heavily outweigh our liabilities, at least for most people. And really the only way to do that is to, one, increase your income, and two, save more percentage of your income. A great mindset that I had early on was I knew that I was making money not to spend, but to save, right? The whole purpose of making money is not to spend it on expensive meals or clothes and stuff like that. The purpose for me for making money was that I can build my assets and grow my net worth. Now, of course, it shouldn't always be like that. You have to have a good balance, but generally just like having that type of mindset allows you to really prioritize saving rather than just spending all the money that you make. I like to view it as a game, and it's a fun game for sure. And another really important concept I want to illustrate is the importance of being surrounded by other people that are trying to do similar things as you. So this was me back when I was in my 20s, and most of my friends were doing other things. Let's give this person like a suitcase. This person is at a desk. And then there was me doing different things at home, trying to build side hustles and businesses. And there really was not too much that I could, connect with all of my friends. I really love my friends, but in terms of relating to them, I just really couldn't do it. Now think about it. If you, let's say this is you, and then all your other friends want to be financially successful, they want to invest, build a business, whatever it is. When you're in an environment where everyone is, bouncing ideas off of each other, where you can actually learn from each other, and that is just amazing. These two people, they can bond over career advice, moving through the ranks, stuff like that. That's amazing, but you can't. So you need to find yourself in an environment that's more like this. Because yeah, I guarantee you, when your friends are all trying to become entrepreneurs or trying to become rich or whatever it is, it's very, very likely that if all of them are, let's say, rich, you're gonna become rich too. If all your friends are amazing soccer players and you want to become an amazing soccer player, your chances of becoming an amazing soccer player are much, much, much higher. This sort of concept relates to anything, not just money or business. Now let's talk about some of the things that all successful people have. And I know this because I've interviewed hundreds of different millionaires. I have a lot of successful people in my network, and these are the things that are sort of common between them. One is that they're always learning. They always have this growth mindset. You've definitely heard this quote. It is basically, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. I don't know if that's exactly it, but you sort of get the gist. Personally, I have always been extremely curious, and I spend a ton of my time actually just learning about different things, right? The reason why I think a lot of successful people have this always learning type of mindset is because they don't think they know everything. They know that there's unlimited things that they can learn, and they know that everything that they actually add to their brain is going to help them become financially successful. So when you go through life with this growth mindset, a lot or a majority of the actions you do actually, contribute towards your learning and towards your growth. It's not all about business. It's not all about just making money or saving and stuff like that. This relates to literally everything in your life, your health, your actions, how you treat people, pretty much everything. The next thing a lot of these people have in common is that they are physically fit. This sort of ties in with that growth mindset, right? They spend a lot of time at the gym doing different activities, cardio, whatever it is. They like to stay fit. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? If you optimize every single part of your life, especially your financial part of your life, then doesn't it make sense to also optimize something that's even more important, which is your literal health? I've prioritized physical health for most of my life, and I really truly think that has contributed so much to my current success. Of course, you don't need to look like a bodybuilder. You don't need to be able to run a 5-minute mile, but simply prioritizing these things, keeping consistent at your physical health, it's going to make you feel better, which makes you be able to work harder, and it's going to allow you to live longer. These are all things that we owe to our family, our kids, as well as our friends. The third thing that I see a lot of these successful people have is they have incredible consistency and relentlessness. They do things a lot. They really emphasize volume. They don't necessarily just emphasize quality. So the thing that's really important, especially when you're starting out, is I think a lot of people, they want everything to be perfect. They want to be completely 110% prepared for what they're about to do. And for me, I don't think this is the right way to do it because I don't think you'll ever feel fully ready. In fact, the best way to actually learn and get ready is to just do things. Jump off the building, build your parachute as you're falling, because that jump, that's what most people, they don't do because they're always trying to find the perfect opportunity or situation or be fully prepared. And that just never really comes. One of my favorite quotes is volume negates luck. And one of my life goals is to actually write a complete book about how you can get lucky. And a huge concept in that book is going to be volume. Take many, many swings at bat and you're sure to hit a home run. But most people, they don't want to step up to bat. They don't want to take a lot of swings. Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want to do. And that sort of ties us into the fourth thing that all successful people have, and that is luck. Successful people are extremely lucky. I cannot emphasize that enough. But the thing is that most of these people, they create their own luck. They made their own luck by their daily actions. So sure, yes, you can be born into wealth. You can have a huge trust fund, whatever it is. But most of the people that I know, they built their own luck. They built their own successes. And yeah, they got extremely, extremely lucky. I mean, yeah, if you want to be in the top 0.1% of the population in terms of financial wealth, then of course you need to be extremely lucky. And the thing is that all these people, their daily habits, their daily actions allow them to get extremely lucky. It puts them basically in luck's way. And when it comes down to it, the concept basically is they're doing a lot of things, they're trying a lot of things, they're putting themselves in a lot of different places. And when you do that, you are just way more likely to get lucky. I think of it sort of as just buying a ton of lottery tickets, because yeah, if you buy 1 billion lottery tickets, you're going to win for sure. So that being said, this is what you need to do right now. You need to stop thinking of being rich only as dollars. Instead of thinking about the money, you need to actually think about the type of person that you need to become rich, because these are the precursors to acquiring money and saving money. And these are things like your habits, your work ethic, your skills, your growth-oriented mindset, your consistency, your actions, and yeah, a ton of other things. So basically, if you spend your early years, your teens, your 20s, building skills, not only focused on making a quick buck, then I guarantee you the money is going to follow. It's funny because sometimes the things that we don't do for money are actually the ones that make you a lot of money. For example, this YouTube channel. Spend your early years not just chasing money, because I guarantee you, if you start young and you're building tons and tons of skills in your teens and 20s, your 30s, it's where you're gonna make a ton of money. And maybe it's gonna come way earlier than your 30s. Because yeah, I know 18-year-olds that make $1 million plus a year. Everyone's journey is different, but when it comes down to it, if you just spend your life chasing the money, but not the precursors to having money, then you really are at a disadvantage. Now, I will say that having money in your 20s and 30s is really amazing. For me, it reduces a lot of the stress that I used to have regarding money and being frugal. It lets you do a lot more of the things you actually want to do and less of the things you don't want to do. And yeah, overall, it's just a really good thing to be financially rich. But that being said, I don't want you to forget the other more important things that make you truly rich in life, right? And I know this is a little cheesy, but I think it's really important to say it. Being rich in money does not equate to being rich in life. Right? It's just correlation, it's not causation. I know for a fact that having money beyond a certain point is not going to contribute to your life happiness. It's not going to make you have a better life compared to other people. And that's extremely important to know, because if you're watching this video and you are already thinking about these things at a young age, yeah, you're going to get rich. I pretty much guarantee it. But I hope along that journey, you realize that there are other things that are more important and work on those as well. Because a lot of people, they get financially successful, they get really, really rich, but they find out that they're not happy. And that's basically because they forgot about everything else that makes life meaningful. Okay, so let's sort of wrap all this up. If you are watching this video, it's probably because you want to become financially successful, likely non-traditionally. And what I'll tell you is that there is going to be a period of time that you go through that is dark, lonely, super tough. I went through it in my 20s where it was pretty rough. But these are the grind years, and you're basically gonna look back and be so grateful and reminiscent of these years. I know I am, right? I would not trade those years in my 20s where things were rough, when I didn't know what was happening, when my parents were disappointed in me. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Getting rich without these years is like being handed a lot of money. It sort of just ruins a person and makes them not appreciate it, right? It really is the journey. I want to stress. It's the journey that makes it all worthwhile. And yeah, personally, I would love to go back and experience that again. So anyways, I know we talked about a lot of things in this video. Hopefully it helped you. I know that there are a lot of you watching this video that were in a similar position to me, and you're motivated, you're super driven, but you sort of don't know what to do. There are people telling you this, there are people telling you that. But the one thing I'll just leave you with is do your own thing, live your own life. Don't always do what other people want you to do, because sometimes they just don't know what's best for you. Plus, they're not you, so don't let them be you. If you guys got any value from this video, please give it a like. Make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. I do a ton of content about personal finance, entrepreneurship, building your business. And yeah, my whole goal is to help you become financially successful. I did it, and I want to help you do it too. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.